Hey there, dudes and dudettes. Welcome back to Just a Dude podcast. I'm your host, Nathan, and today we're diving deeper into the U.S. Constitution with Article 2. This section of the Constitution outlines the powers and responsibilities of the President, so let's get into it. Starting with Section 1, we see the establishment of the executive branch, and it reads as follows. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during a term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President, chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. This sets up the basic framework, a president serving a 4-year term with a vice president. Now, how we get these leaders is pretty unique, so let's take a look at the text again. Each state shall appoint, in such a manner as the legislature thereof may direct, a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress. But no senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. Here's where the Electoral College comes into play. Each state sends electors based on their number of senators and representatives. It's fascinating how this was designed to balance state and federal interests, right? Moving on, the electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for 2 persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves, and they shall make a list of all the persons voted for and the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the President, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed. And if there be more than one who have such majority and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for President. And if no person have a majority, then from the 5 highest on the list, the said House shall in like manner choose the President. But in choosing the President, the vote shall be taken by states, the representatives from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after the choice of the President, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the Vice President. But if there should remain 2 or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose from them by ballot of the Vice President. The Congress may determine the time and choosing of the electors, and the day of which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. This part details how electors vote and how the votes are counted, leading to the election of the President and Vice President. It's a system meant to prevent regional bias by ensuring at least one candidate isn't from the same state as the electors. No person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of President. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident within the United States. This clause defines who can run for president, emphasizing citizenship and age requirements. It's about ensuring loyalty and experience, but it's also a point of debate when we talk about eligibility today. Continuing, in case of the removal of the president from office or of his death, resignation, or inability to discharge the powers and duties of the said office, the same shall devolve on the vice president, and the Congress may by law provide for the case of removal, death, resignation, or inability, both of the president and vice president, declaring what officer shall then act as president, and such officer shall act accordingly until the disability be removed or a president be elected. The president shall, at stated times, receive for his services a compensation which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he shall have been elected, and he shall not receive within that period any other emolument from the United States or any of them. This sets up the line of succession, which is crucial for stability in government. It also addresses the pay that the president would receive. Before he enter the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear, or affirm, that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The oath underscores the President's commitment to the Constitution, which is more than just words. It's a promise of duty. Moving on to Section 2. In Article 2, Section 2, we see, the President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States, and of the militia of the several states, when called into the actual service of the United States. He may require the opinion, in writing, of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices. And he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. Here's where the President's military powers are outlined. It's a significant responsibility, balancing military command with civilian control. This also shows where he gets the power for pardons and reprieves. So this is where we get that information for the President. Continuing, he shall have power by and with the advice and consent of the Senate to make treaties, provided 2/3 of the senators present concur. And he shall nominate, and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law, but the Congress may by law vest the appointment of such inferior officers as they think proper in the President alone, in the courts of law, or in the heads of departments. The President shall have power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recesses of the Senate by granting commissions which shall expire at the end of their next session. This part introduces the President's role in foreign affairs, but with checks and balances through the Senate's consent for treaties and appointments. Now moving on to Section 3, this focuses on the President's domestic responsibility. In Article 2, Section 3, it states, he shall from time to time give the Congress information of the state of the Union, and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. He may, on extraordinary occasions, convene both houses, or either of them, and in case of disagreement between them, with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper. He shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed, and shall commission all the officers of the United States. This is where we get the State of the Union address. It's a tradition where the President communicates directly with Congress about national issues and, well, the State of the Union. This also again states, he shall take care that laws be faithfully executed and shall commission all the officers of the United States. This responsibility to enforce laws is fundamental, but also where we see debates on executive overreach or underreach. After all, it is the executive branch's power to enforce the laws made by Congress and Senate. Finally, let's look at Section 4 of Article 2. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office upon impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. This is the impeachment clause, providing a mechanism to remove officials who have abused their powers. It's rare, but crucial for democracy. Unfortunately, in the last few terms of presidents that we've seen, it's been less rare than it really should be. So, when we look at Article 2, we're not just seeing a list of powers. We're looking at a blueprint for leadership with built-in checks and balances. How do you think these roles have evolved with time? Do they still work as intended, or do we need updates to reflect modern challenges? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments, share this episode, and let's keep this conversation going. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today on Just a Dude podcast. We'll keep unpacking the Constitution, and I'll hope you'll join me for more insights into how our country works. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and stay just a dude or a dudette. Remember to hit that subscribe button, continue to follow us on all social media, and we'll see you next time.